July 20th, 1999. The crackdown begins. All across China, people are facing persecution for practicing a peaceful and spiritual belief system known as Falun Gong. Thousands of their leaders are arrested, and a systematic propaganda campaign is built on lies to discredit the Falun Gong movement as being against the Communist government of China. Built on the principles of truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance, the Falun Gong was first taught publicly in 1992 by Li Hongzhi, and soon embraced by nearly 70 million Chinese. But without being able to control it, the Communist Party saw this new belief system as a big threat. So this week, on the 17th anniversary of the crackdown, Falun Gong practitioners in Vancouver held a demonstration against the Chinese government's persecution of their practice. But what I was to learn is far more disturbing. Falun Gong are not simply protesting the arrest and incarceration of their people, but the mass killing. And to feed what is surely one of the darker secrets of the Chinese regime, live organ cultivation. It was just last month that I discovered a damning new report co-authored by three men, Canadians David Mattis and David Kilgore, and American journalist Ethan Gutman, all who have written books on Chinese human rights abuses and organ harvesting. Now I'm going to play you a clip from one of the authors explaining what they found. It's almost 2 minutes, but it's truly disturbing.
That we are looking at not 10,000 transplants per year in China, but something more like 60 to 100,000 transplants per year in China. Now, this number is extremely upsetting, that we literally have no idea exactly where the sourcing of these organs comes from. Even if voluntary organ donations in China have gone up, they can't reach this level. This is live organ harvesting. Falun Gong in the main, but also Uyghurs, Tibetans, House Christians. These are the groups that have been targeted from the beginning, and they continue to be targeted. We see no hospitals closing. We see no transplant centers struggling. In fact, we see the opposite. We see construction programs, hundreds of hospitals, and it has become their bread and butter, an economic mainstay of their profession, is to keep this thing going. A death sentence, really, for the groups we're talking about. We're putting this report out without coming up with a casualty number. Now, we can't, because we don't know. They're getting 2 organs out of a Falun Gong practitioner, 1 organ, 3 organs. It's very hard to get 3 organs, tissue matched, into new donors. It's very hard to do that all simultaneously, but it is possible. And for that reason, we can't come up with a clear number. What I can say is that the numbers we estimated previously for Kilgore and Mattis, it was 2001 to 2005, 42,500 organs that were unexplained. I made an estimate from 2000 to 2008 and said 65,000 Falun Gong practitioners have been harvested for their organs. At this point, those numbers look very low. The world really does need to wake up to what is going on here. This problem has not been solved. It's gotten worse.
What is almost as disturbing as that is how little this has been talked about in the media. At the demonstration, there were no other English language media besides myself. Many supporters of Falun Gong movement suggest that the Chinese government pressures or even bribes large media corporations in the West not to cover the organ trade and the persecution of Falun Gong. After the demonstration, I was able to speak with one of the organizers, ZHANG. She told me why this was such an important day and who the Falun Gong wanted to see brought to justice for their persecution.
Today we are here is to commemorate the date of July 20th. It was the 1999, July 20th, the former leader of China, JIANFENG, started the persecution of Falun Gong. So today, 17 years later, the persecution continues. More and more truth and revealed that the persecution is being beyond everyone's imagination.
And I was able to speak with independent candidate running for MLA in Burnaby-Deer Lake, ELIAS ISHAK. He gave a speech condemning communism at the rally, so I began by asking him why he decided to come out and if he shared my concerns that the current Trudeau government is all too happy to have closer ties with China.
It's mostly solidarity with Falun Gong, who happen to be oppressed by the Chinese party. The Chinese Communist Party. I'm opposed to communism wherever it is, but there's such a big community here, and I grew up here, and I just kind of feel a solidarity with the Falun Gong practitioners in particular. The fact that Trudeau's career wasn't ruined immediately when he admired the basic dictatorship in China. Just says something about our political culture here.
Well, I share his concern. I think our government and Justin Trudeau are moving us to closer ties with China while ignoring these brutal human rights abuses and even outright state-sanctioned murder. And it's wrong. But as you would expect, nobody official from any level of government showed up. And I wonder if they'd get a call from the Chinese consulate if they did. I was, however, able to speak with ZHANG, a man who has survived Chinese imprisonment. He escaped and eventually made his way to Canada. I spoke to him through an interpreter, but what he had to tell me was truly shocking.
He used to be a teacher in university, and later on he have been get a degree and become the lawyer and the judge. He become a person want to uphold justice for minority groups. The government sent him to jail because he speak for the minority. It happens in 2002 for 16 years. First day, all police over 50 surrounded me, and also they beat me by the whole group for 4 hours. I was put in jail and I was very sick, but the jail guard or the police never let me have a treatment. And I also organize a Christian, tell people become Christian. That's the first one, Christian in jail. They treat those people so badly, brutally. They kill some of them.
This is a topic I'm going to continue to report on. I know the mainstream media won't. With the atrocities in the Middle East committed by ISIS, there is dutiful concern being raised right now. But for over 10 years before ISIS was even imagined, the Chinese communists have been committing state-sanctioned murder of minorities. I'm going to follow up with JIANFENG and find out more about what he knows about the persecution of Christian, Falun Gong, and other minorities in China for this horrible and barbaric practice of organ harvesting. Earlier, I showed you a clip of Ethan Gutman speaking of the horrors that he and his partners have uncovered. You can watch his full 8-minute clip by clicking here, and you can find more by going to endorganpillaging.org. For the Rebel.media, I'm Christopher Wilson.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.